Have you ever wondered how we went from castles, knights, and plagues to art, science, and modern thinking? What if I told you there was a moment in history when everything changed? That moment was the Renaissance, and it reshaped the world forever. Let's dive into this incredible transformation that changed how we see ourselves, explore the universe, and create beauty.
Before the Renaissance, Europe was going through hard times. People had just come out of the Middle Ages, also called the Dark Ages. There were wars, diseases like the Black Death, and a lot of fear and superstition. Most people couldn't read or write. Life was mainly about survival, and the church had control over what people believed. But then, something amazing happened. People began to think differently. This change began with an idea called humanism. It was the belief that humans have value, power, and potential. People started looking back at the writings, art, and ideas of ancient Greece and Rome. They realized that humans are capable of great things, thinking, creating, discovering. Instead of just focusing on religion, scholars and artists wanted to explore the real world and understand life here on Earth. This was the spark that lit the fire of the Renaissance. The Renaissance started in Italy, especially in cities like Florence, Venice, and Rome. These cities were full of trade, wealth, and curious minds. Rich families like the Medici supported artists and thinkers, giving them money to work on their ideas. This support helped create an explosion of new art, science, and writing. It was like the world woke up. One of the biggest changes during the Renaissance happened in art. Before this, most art was religious and flat, but now, artists started painting people, nature, and everyday life in realistic ways. They studied the human body, used light and shadows, and created depth using perspective, making images look 3D. Let's talk about some of the greatest artists. Leonardo da Vinci, he was more than a painter, he was an inventor, scientist, and thinker. His famous painting The Mona Lisa is still one of the most famous artworks in the world. Michelangelo, he sculpted the statue of David and painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, a massive work that shows scenes from the Bible in stunning, detailed. Raphael, known for his perfect balance and beauty in painting. Like in the School of Athens. Renaissance art wasn't just beautiful. It made people think. It showed the beauty of human life and the world around us. The Renaissance wasn't just about art, it was also a time of scientific discovery. Before this, people believed the Earth was the center of the universe. But one man, Nicolaus Copernicus, changed that. He said the sun, not the Earth, is at the center. This idea was shocking at the time, but it was true. Then came Galileo Galilei. He used a telescope to look at the stars and planets. He saw things no one had ever seen before, like moons orbiting Jupiter. His discoveries supported Copernicus' ideas and helped start what we now call the scientific method, testing ideas with experiments and observations. This was the beginning of modern science, the way we study the world today. From medicine to astronomy, the Renaissance laid the foundation. One of the biggest inventions of the Renaissance was the printing press, created by Johannes Gutenberg. Before this, books had to be copied by hand, which took forever. The printing press changed everything. Books became cheaper and easier to make. More people could learn to read. Ideas spread fast, not just in Italy, but across Europe. This helped fuel even more discoveries. Knowledge was no longer just for the rich or powerful. It started reaching ordinary people. The Renaissance started in Italy, but it didn't stay there. It spread to Northern Europe, where writers like William Shakespeare in England began to explore human emotion, comedy, and tragedy in new ways. In the Netherlands, artists like Jan van Eyck used oil paints to create detailed, lifelike images. In Germany, thinkers like Martin Luther challenged the Catholic Church, leading to the Protestant Reformation. This shows how the Renaissance wasn't just one thing, it was a wave of change that touched everything: art, science, religion, education, and how people saw the world. So, how did the Renaissance change the world? It made us believe in human potential, in creativity, intelligence, and discovery. It showed us that the world is full of beauty and mystery, waiting to be explored. It pushed us to ask questions, to look beyond tradition, and to imagine something better. Today, when we look at a painting, study science, or read a book, we're experiencing the legacy of the Renaissance. It wasn't just a moment in history. It was a turning point, a spark that lit the path to the modern world. So next time you wonder why the world looks the way it does, remember the Renaissance. It changed everything, and maybe it can inspire you to create, explore, and think for yourself, just like the people who lived through it did. If this inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that changed the world.